Hi, cooperators. It's Marcos again. I thought now I need to look at the products and services that are offered by Promedical. But in doing so, I'm going to look at them in a different style. We have developed a bot, or what we call a WhatsApp bot. Some people would call it automated WhatsApp business. Now, how it actually works is that you just go, you save a number. There's a particular number, a Promedical that we use. The number is 066 258 2262. And then if you save that number on your cell phone and then you go to your WhatsApp, and then you just click or you just type hi, and the entire menu on the WhatsApp bot, it will show up. And they will see it will welcome you and say, welcome to Promedical Business or Promedical Products and Services. Now, the reason why we did that, Promedical has got so many products and services. And we decided to put all of them on the WhatsApp bot so that at your leisure, you can just scroll down, play around it, go and look at each and every category. There are various categories there. And they look at each and every category, and you can see what interests you, what you want to know more about, and so forth. But today I'm going to talk specifically about just one category where we have the consultation. Actually, that category is called medical care. So medical care category is the very first category when you get to our bot. Under medical care, we have a consultation where a patient can consult from home on WhatsApp with a medical doctor. And then on that category again, we've got the health plans, or what these days is called the vouchers or medical vouchers. And I just want to give you a little bit of background as to why we came up with this kind of an idea as Promedical. Look, guys, I must be honest with you. The medical fraternity is in trouble. Medical doctors, to be specific, are in trouble. They're in trouble everywhere you find them. You find them in a hospital, they're in trouble. They have lost power. And they are now controlled by people who are very junior in the clinical setting. I've always said this over and over again, and it really hurts. And it's one thing that really worries me in the medical profession. And to a point where people are actually getting pushed out of the system. And I don't want to waste time talking about all those problems because that's not the purpose of this video. You go to private, same picture. That the lines are drawn in private along racial lines. It's very difficult, especially for Black folks, to get into private hospitals and get admission rights and so forth. And quite a number of private hospitals these days, they only accommodate those who have got a shareholding. And then you go to a very sad situation, particularly in the townships and rural areas. Of course, I don't practice in the rural areas, but I take it that what I see in the townships possibly is happening in the rural areas. The GPs are out of the game. The GPs have been taken out of the game by many, many people. In fact, there are two groups. You have the state, and then you have the private, what we call the typical private sector, means your corporate. Now, I understand the state, of course, the state has to do something to assist people in accessing quality health. But in this case, what takes out the GPs out of business is not the state offering quality service that therefore there's a shift of the market, or where patients shift and utilize more of state services. No. The truth of the matter is that the state has allowed vultures to come and prey on the GPs. And I have my own theories of this, but I will deal with my theories later. Now, the situation is such that if you remember, the whole thing, I mean, started with the medical aids. The doctors were not protected, and they're still not protected even today. The medical aid schemes, of course, they can decide what to pay, or not to pay, and with no recourse. I mean, you can't take them to, there's no court where you can say, I've rendered the service, and then I claim so much, I've been paid half of it. There's no court like that. You can't go to court. If you were to try alone, then it would fail, because they've got a lot of money. And then, so we're not protected. The state doesn't protect GPs. So the poor doctors, they'll take whatever comes. And of course, most of the time, you cannot collect any outstanding amounts from the patient. Most of the time, it's difficult. There are tricks that I'll discuss at a later stage. But for the purposes of this video, that is the situation. The state has actually unleashed the vultures on the doctors in the township and rural areas. Now, of course, it started with the medical aids, and then what these guys did, just to make sure that we never survive again. And then they went in there to select a few of us, and then they started saying to those few of us, listen here, you are the loved ones, and if you behave well, then they will do business with you, to the total exclusion of the majority. And that's why they came up with this idea of a preferred provider status. And quite a number of people, especially the IPAs, those days, they sold out right there, because they started forming these things, and they know themselves. Because I always tell them that they know themselves. But they've got fancy names. They run these companies and call themselves managed care, or they're part of managed care and so on. But at the end of the day, it's all about being on the side of those who are exploiting the doctors, and so that they can also enjoy the spoils of exploitation. So the state has actually played a role here. I can go on talking about the state. And then, of course, there's something that is being promised now called NHI. The problem that I have with that, besides the fact that it's going to take decades before you can see, even, well, forget about the campaigns that people are doing now. For the past, I don't know, decades, we have been hearing NHI. Every time the elections are nearing, then you'll hear the drums of NHI sounding even louder. And then after that, the sounds die down again. So that we know. But here's the promise. What is being promised here is a single payer system, where I have a big problem with the single payer system. How dare on earth have a single payer system run by the state, when actually the state cannot run anything? That we know. We don't have to theorize around. We already know, we've seen. You don't need another 30 years to see that the state cannot run anything. So I don't even want to make examples of that. And then suddenly they will get health, such a complex thing, right? Remember, health is the most complex industry out of all the industries. Health has got everything that you can think of. Health has got construction, has got IT, has got medicines, has got medical equipment, all these things, multi billion things that the state can spend on. And you have got research, you have got so many things that actually you can lay your hands on. If basically you want to steal, ideally, you should forget about stealing anywhere else. You just go and steal in health. You'll make your money. If you are, of course, you must be a good thief. Now, health is that kind of an industry. And yet it's a very sensitive industry. You see the results immediately. When you steal in health, you'll see the results immediately. You just see people not getting better, queuing in the hospitals and clinics like you are seeing now. Now, this whole idea of NHI as a promise, what is being promised now? Well, you know, all those things, the bills and all those things signed into law, it's just a story. So for the purposes of campaign, we hear, hey, it's going to happen now. In Soweto, it's about to happen now. They've been piloting everywhere. I mean, some people actually even stopped, some doctors that I know even stopped participating in these pilots in Pretoria and so forth. But anyway, so there is this promise. It's an empty promise, but for the purposes of a campaign, you know, and I can see some of our colleagues are starting to be excited. They're excited about nothing. Nothing is going to happen. Anyway, the other player here that actually is giving us a run for our money is the corporate. Now, you mentioned them. You know, even the medical aids have actually joined in here. They have developed some products, what they call vouchers, medical vouchers. Remember, the medical aid business now is shrinking. I mean, we had the COVID, which actually, of course, our economy has not been growing, I mean, for a very long time now. Number two, we had COVID. That actually flattened our economy. And then whilst we're trying to recover, well, you know, I mean, these thieves, they stole, you know, what, 500 million? Disappeared, okay? And then after that, now you have a load shedding that closed down many, many companies. I mean, I go past Faraday where it used to be an employment hub. There's nothing happening. Close. Warehouses, everywhere you go, things are closed, right? And the guys don't stop stealing, they continue, okay? And then now that the medical aid is shrinking because many people cannot afford to go on a medical aid in any case because companies are closing. And then there was this market that I always call the middle of the pyramid, which was some couple of years back, we estimated to be about 15 to 20 million. Now, most of the corporate, this corporate now started moving into that market. This is a market that has been neglected for a long time by us, especially the doctors, because I always blame ourselves because we all have ourselves to blame. We take time to think. We don't see things coming. So these guys, they've identified that market. And this is the market that pays out of pocket. These are the guys who don't want to go to government facilities. They don't want to use government facilities. And yet they cannot afford a typical private facility. So what they do, because they can't afford private health and they don't want to use public health, and then they decide to, as and when they can afford to pay out. Now, this corporate, you name them, your medical aids, your discoveries, your clicks, your Netcare, all these guys, they have identified that market and they went straight for it. And how did they get there? Simple. They said, and all of them, they go out, they sell lies first. They tell the people who are about it because they designed these vouchers and they call them health vouchers or medical vouchers, whatever you call them. And these are prepaid vouchers. In fact, they are not even insurance. They are not even a medical aid. They are not an insurance. So they are prepaid. So a person is like buying prepaid airtime, you know, and then you can buy it and give it to somebody else. So they are not regulated by the Council for Medical Aid Schemes. They are not regulated by the Financial Services, by the Financial Service Conduct Authority. They are not regulated. These are vouchers. Now they say to the patient, no, don't worry, we have got a big database of doctors. Anywhere, where do you stay? A patient says, I stay in Dignity. They say, we've got doctors. They have never even spoken to us that we should accept this voucher. They'll say, no, we've got doctors. They call us, they call the doctors, we are part of the GP network. Then they would then put a label and say, this is a XP, for instance, XP, a GP network. They give you names, right? And then they take the money from the patients. And then they say to the patients, when you are sick, they are just go and see Dr. Mkulise. And then show this voucher and it's going to accept. Now, where I hate it, these guys, they collect money. Let me give you an example. If, for instance, they've collected 1,000 rands, the statistics shows that only 30% of the people will get sick out of 1,000 per month. It means they'll only have 30% of the claims per month. Now, they know how to monitor this and make sure that it actually stays there. Now, when a patient is sick, of course, we'll go and consult with the GP, and then the total per month will be about 30%. The rest, 70%, is their money. So basically, they took all the money from the industry and kept it for themselves. And then they gave us only 30% to share amongst ourselves. That's how stupid we are. That's how stupid we are. Doctors, I mean, you know, you may think that they're very intelligent because, of course, they studied maths, physics, and so forth. They were sitting in the front in the class. In fact, we're the dumbest guys when it comes to, we know fuck all. That's why now everybody, when he wants to make money, it comes for us. Anybody, no matter how stupid that person can be, if he wants to make money, he knows. Just wake up in the morning, look for a doctor, grab the doctor by the neck, and then you make your money, period. Because they say, we know nothing about money. And in fact, they go on to say, we don't care about money. We care more about our patients. That's the nonsense that I hate. That's why I do the work that I'm doing. Now, guys, we are in trouble. Now, if you look at the industry now, you will see the GP practices are closing down. In fact, they are closing down in numbers. Now, here's the sad part. Most of the GPs are older, cannot be employed because government does not have jobs. There are no jobs. Okay, I saw at some stage, Panyaza Lisufi, you know, as part of their campaign, of course, because they always advertise these jobs when the elections are nearer. Was leaving what you call Nasispan, something like that, you know, and announce it. How can you dare announce the availability of posts when you just see that the elections are just next door? Where were these posts all the time? Why were people not employed all the time? Just because now they can see that the ANC is in trouble. ANC is going to lose the elections. ANC is going to go below 50%. In fact, some people, they even say below 40%. ANC has messed up big time. Now they're pulling all the stops to say, oh boy, what can we do now? We must pull off our NHI. Let's release the jobs and so on. Let's show the people that we are doing something. It's too late. Actually, it's too little and too late. And fortunately enough, the people of South Africa are not fools. And we are not fools, at least. They can fool other people, but they cannot fool all of us, especially myself. There's nobody who can fool me. I know these guys. Now, this is the problem. The whole idea here, first in health, from the government side, the main, or what I would call the strategic goal, the first thing was to control the doctors. Once you have got the doctors under control, because the doctors tend to think lateral, that's their problem. They tend to think away from the box. And this is what the politicians know. And the first thing they have to do, they have to reduce them to size. And they have done that. They have managed to do that. Reduced us to size at the public sector, because they had to get nurses to start monitoring doctors, where doctors go and supervise. Where on planet Earth have you ever had? So now, guys, and then the private sector is doing what it's doing, what I've just described to you now, where again, we are just nothing else but a glorified employees by the private sector, taking money from the industry, that money that belongs to us, and then after that, they employ us. So we decided then, in response to all this nonsense as Promedical, to come up with a plan. And that's what we call a medical care plan under Promedical. We said, okay, fine. We developed a platform. That's why this board that I'm talking about. Please, guys, go and play around with this board. All you have to do is just dial the number. I mean, you save the number first on your cell phone, 066-258-2262. Then you go to your WhatsApp, and then you type hi, and then you see the menu. Now, what we did, we developed this platform to counter these guys. We have got to counter these guys. All of them are clowns. They don't know what they are doing. One, they are not doctors. Two, they don't understand health. We are the only people who understand health because we are the engineers of the science. Of course, they've got their monies. The others have got power, state power. The others have got the corporate power or the financial power. We don't have, but we have got the education because we know the industry. We studied the industry. They cannot beat us in our own game. So on the consultation, we developed a platform where patients can actually consult from home. Now, patients, they just have to buy the vouchers. We came up with vouchers that are cheaper, more affordable than the vouchers that they're actually selling right now. If you can go around, you can Google, just go Google medical vouchers, if you don't mind. I don't want to talk about the names of some of these companies. Google the medical vouchers. You will see there are vouchers that are starting from 350 rands. So, a person can buy a voucher for 350 rands. And then if he is sick, then he can go to a GP and he's going to get a consultation and a treatment. Who told them that we charge 350 rands? 2023. Who told them that? They told their patients when they took their monies. That broad daylight robbery. They took their monies and they say, you'll go to Dr. Mkulise when you are sick with your 350 is going to check you. And it's also, how do I treat the patient with 350? But they say we should do that. Now, Promedical, we say nonsense. What we're doing now, we say people must buy vouchers from Promedical at minimum of 100 rands. Minimum of 100 rands. They just buy a voucher and every month to just buy a voucher. And they should, any member of the family be sick, and then that person can consult only at 100 rands because he bought a voucher for the month. Period. So we are undercutting these guys, taking them out of the game. We need to do this together, guys. If we don't do it, they win. We're out, must be employed by. I can tell you now, some of us who are going to go and work for Clicks, this scam, we go and work for all these guys. Just like most of our colleagues, specialists are working for these private hospitals, glorified employees. They don't own these hospitals, but they are working there, making millions for these guys who are playing golf. That's what is going to happen to us. Now, that's what we have done as Promedical. We created this platform. We said, okay, fine. We have got this one now, the consultation where patients can consult via WhatsApp, a video consultation, and then they can actually, even if they want, and then visit physically, come to the practice to see the doctor physically. Now, the whole idea is that we need to actually to give options to patients if patients want to consult from home. And then prescriptions, for instance, then we deliver because we will say, this is the medication, and then the cost of delivery is so much. And we have done the costing and so forth. It's actually cheaper to deliver locally. To give you an example, to deliver medicine within Davidton is only 30 rands. And then outside Davidton, it goes to 100 rands. And then I think a little bit more if you have got to move from Davidton to Soweto. But I'm just showing you how we can kill all these monsters and they remain alone in the industry. We have got to flush them out, flush all these mosquitoes, and then I can tell you, we're going to control this industry. If we can give a good service to our patients. Now, that consultation, patients can actually even pay, right there when they consult with the doctor. And then we are still developing even further, developing the AI or the bot even further to accommodate various modes of payment. But right now we've got the Yoko, and then they can do EFT if they want to, or they can use an app, or they can use a MetaMask if maybe they want to via the Ethereum blockchain. There are so many options. And then the second part, still on the medical care, we have developed these vouchers. There are many, of course, I did mention a little bit on the 100 rands, but there are many. We've got, for instance, option A, B, and C, and then they differ in terms of the amount. I think we have got a voucher for 100 rands, they buy per month. Then we've got another voucher for 200 rands, and then another voucher for 400 rands. But guys, these vouchers, you can actually go, like I'm honestly encouraging you, go to our bot, to our WhatsApp bot, play with that bot. There's that menu has got everything there, but I just want you to focus on the first category, which is our our medical care category. Look at that one, look at those plans. And I can tell you, if you encourage your patients to go on, your relatives as well, because most of our relatives don't have medical aids. Medical aids are expensive. And then you encourage to go on these plans. And the guys, I'm telling you, will never regret. And all of us will have money. As healthcare professionals, we're going to enjoy ourselves. Currently, we don't stand a chance against these guys. We are dead meat. Now, let me tell you, just in closing, if you look at, for instance, the whole the approach that we are coming up with here is an approach where our patients need to trust us again, because they have lost trust in us. I mean, to be honest with you, they need to trust us again. We need to be closer to our patients. Can you imagine when a patient can call you and then can consult with you, and then you send a prescription or you deliver the medication, and then when the loved one is sick, and then they can call you, you write a prescription or deliver the medication, or they can visit you and make life so easy. That increases trust. And these people are going to start moving away, even from these medical aids, because they don't need these medical aids. They need us. And with that money, we can actually develop medical centers. We can even develop hospitals with that money, because these people are many. If they bring that money to us, and of course, I'll tell you the reimbursement. How do we actually pay the doctors? Then we can grow in that way. Now, reimbursement, how do we pay doctors? We use the same ratio, guys. We know the statistics that when you collect 1,000 rands from a group of people, and then we know, because this thing works on cross-subsidization, and we know that the third will be the claims. And then with us, because we'll be in control, you'll find that actually we'll manage that third. We can stick to that third. And we won't have because of course, these things tend to be crash payments. Then you can actually manage that third in such a way that Promedical grows and it has got wealth, it has got enough money to build more infrastructure to treat these patients. Now, when a patient, for instance, is sick and goes to a doctor, there's something that we say co-payment. I mean, where a patient pays 100 rands to a doctor, but then after that, the doctor will then send a report to Promedical and say, this is what the patient, this is so Mrs. So-and-so complained about this, and this is my findings, and this is what I did to assist the patient. And then that would be a report. And then as soon as Promedical receives the report, and then we pay the doctor the different, what's the difference, whatever the doctor is charging. But we recommend that doctors don't, our colleagues don't charge excessively. So many people, of course, how would you charge excessively when it's actually your own business? Because we are part of this. You have got shares if you are a member of Promedical. And so I don't want to make this video long. I'm trying to make these videos short because many people have complained that my videos tend to be too long. And I've noticed also on the analytics that some people, they listen 20%, some 30%. I think people get tired. Let me just stop right here. But please, guys, subscribe, like the video, comment, post there, say something on those comments there. I want to hear, I want to know what is in your mind. And don't forget, guys, to click that subscribe button. It really helps in terms of the algorithm of YouTube. And I think I'll be hearing from you very soon. There are many videos to come on various products that I'll be doing very soon. And